Easy all. So this next night that I want to talk about is a night called Imagination. Now, this was the second rave that I ever went to. So as I said in another video, Stearns was the first rave that I went to after being involved and listening to pirate radio and buying tapes and what have you. So my first experience. So if you've not read that, do go and check it out. So when I came back to Wembley, where I grew up with my mates, obviously, like, I couldn't stop talking about Stearns. And, you know, having experienced all that music as it was intended to be heard, I was very keen for my lot to be able to do the same and all of us start, you know, proper our raving journey. So one of our mates, Rob, was a year or two older than us, and I can't remember the connection, but he'd suggested this night Imagination and said that I think he knew one of the guys or knew someone or whatever it was. Anyway, so it was in Liverpool Street, Broadgate, sort of round that way, and it was kind of like it wasn't a club for sure. It was like a kind of sort of, kind of felt like a school hall, but I remember going up there, and there was definitely some kind of nerves and anticipation. And actually, I've got a funny story about that. So that would have been sort of late '91, probably around October, November time. And many years later, I was resident for Ram Records at the end for about 4 years, from 2004 to 2008. So obviously got to know Andy C and also Red One, which is Scott, who at the time was managing Ram Records, who's now gone on to just manage Andy C full stop over everything. Anyway, about halfway through the residency, I remember seeing this documentary. I don't know if you remember, Andy C did a documentary when he was on the Millennium Wheel, and he's chatting away and he's talking about, you know, he met Scott and he started going out to his nights and his sister, like, taking him into clubs. And then he talks about his night Imagination. I was like, what? Turns out that Scott Red One was actually the promoter of that night in '91. Like, how bonkers is that? Like 22, 23 years later, that we would end up kind of crossing paths again through Ram Records. So anyway, I thought that kind of blew me away. So, as I say, it wasn't a club. It was just kind of like this space, really. And I kind of remember there was like a big stage set up, like all the scaffolding. I think it was pretty kind of decent lights, you know, for the time, and the sound was good. And there's a couple of things I remember. One, I remember like the undercover cops that coming in there and going through, and if you've ever seen in that era undercover cops, they all dress exactly the same. Light blue stonewashed jeans. They've still got their workman boots on, a black bomber jacket and a crew cut. I mean, they just stand out an absolute mile. They didn't really do anything. They were just kind of sort of wandering around. I guess at that time, right, the old Bill was still trying to figure out, you know, what was going on, and was it going to be a problem, and was there going to be fights? And anyway, so one of my mates got dubbed the 30-second dancer because we would all go up and have a dance. I mean, I can't remember it being hot because I remember sweating a lot, but that was because obviously we were dancing a lot as well. But then we'd come back to the back of the venue and just basically sit up and lean up against the wall. There was no chill out room, or not one that I remember finding in there. So if you wanted to just kind of chill for a little bit, then you had to kind of lie against the back wall. And I remember Roy, obviously, this is the first time that he was ever, like, you know, really in that, like, kind of space. We'd just get up and dance his, like, you'd hear a tune, just dance his ass off for 30 seconds. Knackered, straight back down and sit back down. So that was always good fun to watch. I do want to talk about one of the DJs that I remember for the night, because we ended up going to certainly another one Imagination. Maybe there's another one. I think we might have gone to two in Liverpool Street. And then there was one kind of in North London somewhere. I can't remember the name of the club. It was very small. And they just absolutely ploughed the smoke machine. So I just remember just being absolutely lost in there. But they had one DJ there called Just James, who was I'm assuming it was their resident DJ, because I remember seeing him on a few of the flyers, and I think I remember talking to Scott, Red One, all those years later, and asking him, and he was going, yeah, Just Jones was the man. I'd never seen anything like it before. Like, I was absolutely blown away with how he was DJing. In this little club, basically, that was covered in smoke. It was kind of like a little cage that he was kind of DJing in. And then behind it were these stairs that came up. So as you went up the stairs, you could look down into the cage and you could see exactly what he was doing. I think still to this day, 34 years later, I don't think I've ever seen a DJ work as hard. Like, I mean, like, work. He was just non-stop moving. The way that he was working, he had like a mate with him that was firstly taking records off him, and then secondly passing him records. He was always on the go, and it was just unbelievable watching what he was doing, because he would just be in there, bang, 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 bang. He'd got it in time, like so quick, bang, it was straight in the mix. Next thing you know, that one's off, and he's literally holding that record behind him. He grabs the next one. And I just remember just being in total awe. You know, there were quite a few DJs that had, you know, an impact on me. You know, probably none more so than Ratty, Randall, LSD, Slipmat. I think, you know, the four that I almost always cite, right, as being the biggest influence. And from a mixing style, you know, certainly Ratty and Randall. But this Just Jones to me was just like unbelievable with what he was doing and how fast he was cutting up and bringing tunes in. And it was all a bit bizarre, because like you couldn't see anyone like dancing in front of him, because the smoke was so thick. You had no idea what was going on. But they were really good nights, and we did a few of those small little kind of unknown intimate ones. And I have tried on a few occasions, and maybe should try again now, I think it's been a while, to try and find a Just Jones DJ mix online, or a tape rip or whatever. So please, if anyone has got or seen or knows of a link for Just Jones, please drop it in the comments below, because I'd love to check it out. Because maybe he wasn't that good, but he just seemed that good. But seeing how hard he worked was unbelievable. So, getting home. we always had fun getting home. Now, there is a very, very high chance that this story is a different night, but I swear that it was this night. Anyway, my mate Sastra, you remember the one. So, there were four of us. So, yeah, we're all in one car. And I remember we were driving back, it's broad daylight. So, you know, it must have been what? Sort of 5, 6, 7, whatever, you know, we always stayed to the very last drop. And we were coming home. I just remember everyone absolutely busting to go for a pee and just begging the driver, please just stop anywhere. Like, it was probably an hour drive, from 45 minutes from Liverpool Street to Wembley. Basically I stopped. 3 of us got out, or maybe 4 of us, can't remember. I definitely remember at least 3 of us. It was kind of a side road, but not really a side road. And there's 3 of us all kind of up against this fence having a pee. Next thing I know, police car drives past. And obviously, lights are on. Turn back round, pull over in front of the car. And I can't really remember the conversation, but obviously I think they were kind of thought it was a bit odd. 3 lads at 7 o'clock in the morning, all taking a peek through this fence. So they just kind of let us go. But obviously there was a stern words about, you know, respecting property, which, you know, fair enough. If you can hear a really weird squeaking sound, by the way, for some reason, someone's given my daughter this squeaky little thing that's super annoying. So I hope you can't hear it. So anyway, we got home and that was fine. I do have, I think the next one I'm going to tell you about is another incident involving the old Bill on the way home, because there were a few of them, but the next one I've got for you is an absolute doozy. So again, you know, thank you very much for listening. You know, I love sharing these stories. Please do share your stories below in the comments. My plan at the moment is that I've got, you know, probably 15 or 20 of these that I'm going to record for different events, nights, experiences that I had. And as I say, my main driver for this was that I've done a load of great interviews with some phenomenal DJs, MCs, producers, etc. from back in the day. And I really want to kind of complement that with Raver stories, because, you know, we're all there, right? And I just kind of look at the whole scene as this massive cake. And everyone's got their little slice of the cake with their recollections, their stories and their experiences. And the more of them that I can hear, I guess it just helps me feel even closer to it. I feel close to it anyway. So yeah, anything you've got to share, please do share down below. I'd love to hear your stories, whether it was your first night, your latest night, the funniest night, whatever it may be. Just let us know below. Thanks for your ears. Catch you later.